The first tear slid down her cheek before she even spoke. Her phone trembled in her hand, the sunlight catching the edge of the screen. I watched her from across the hotel balcony, the ocean stretching endlessly behind me. She had called 10 times. I had ignored the first 9. On the 10th I answered. "Ryan," she whispered, voice cracking. "Please tell me you're not there with her." The words hit harder than I'd expected. For a moment, I couldn't find my voice. I looked at the bed behind me, sheets tangled, still carrying the scent of expensive perfume and betrayal. Her sister was in the shower, humming softly, blissfully unaware, or maybe pretending to be. I turned my face toward the horizon, watching waves crash against the rocks. "You're the one who wanted this, Emma." She let out a sound between a sob and a laugh. "Not like this. God, not like this." 3 months earlier, I never would have imagined any of this. Back then, we were the couple people envied. We laughed at dinner parties, finished each other's sentences, traveled every summer, and posted pictures of us kissing under sunsets. But behind the curated smiles, something had cracked. Emma had grown distant, emotionally careful, physically colder. When I'd try to touch her, she'd flinch like my hand burned her skin. When I'd ask what was wrong, she'd say she was just tired. Always tired. One night, after too much wine and a long silence, she said, "I think we should try something different." I didn't understand. She leaned forward, eyes glassy, tone calm but deliberate. "An open marriage, Ryan. No secrets, no lies. Just freedom." I laughed at first. Thought it was a joke. But she didn't smile. The next morning, she sent me a link to an article about ethical non-monogamy. Words like trust, communication, consent. All clinical, clean, distant from the emotional mess they actually created. First, I refused. But over the following weeks, I began to feel like I was already losing her. She started dressing up again, staying out later, smiling at her phone more often. The silence between us grew unbearable. So I agreed. "Fine," I said. "No rules then. Just honesty," she replied. But she lied first. I found out on a Sunday morning. Her laptop was open, still warm. I saw the messages. Soft, intimate, unmistakable. "Last night was perfect. I can still smell you on me. You make me feel alive." The name wasn't some stranger from a dating app. It was Ethan, coworker. The same man who had been at our house for wine nights. The same one who had toasted our anniversary last year. When she came home, I asked her directly. She didn't deny it. She just looked at me with that same detached calm and said, "I thought you understood the rules." There were no rules about falling in love with someone else. Something in me broke. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Lily, her younger sister. She sounded nervous, needing to talk about Emma. We met at a small cafe near the coast. She looked so much like her sister but softer. Kinder. "She's been reckless," Lily said, stirring her coffee. "I tried to tell her this would hurt you." Her concern felt genuine. And for the first time in months, someone looked at me like I mattered. We talked for hours. About betrayal. About how love can rot quietly beneath trust. She listened in a way Emma hadn't in years. When she touched my hand, it didn't feel wrong. It felt like relief. That night, she texted me. "You didn't deserve any of this." Neither of us planned what happened next. But once the door opened, we didn't close it. The resort was Emma's favorite. An oceanfront villa she had once begged me to book for our 10th anniversary. Now it was where I took her sister. It wasn't revenge, at least not at first. I told myself it was about clarity. About finally feeling wanted again. But the first time Lily whispered my name in that same rhythm Emma used to, something twisted deep inside me. And I didn't stop it. The call replayed in my head long after I hung up. Her voice, broken, trembling, laced with disbelief. "She was supposed to be my sister, Ryan. You knew what this would do to me." She was right. He knew. When I walked back inside, Lily sat cross-legged on the bed, wrapped in a white robe, smiling like a woman in a romantic movie. She held up a glass of champagne. Who was that? She asked lightly. I hesitated. Emma. Her smile faltered. She knows. He nodded. I told her. She exhaled, lowering the glass. Maybe it's time we stop this, Ryan. Stop what? I asked, though I already knew. This, whatever this is. She's my sister. She doesn't deserve. Lily's voice trailed off as she looked at me. You're doing this to hurt her, aren't you? I wanted to deny it. To tell her it wasn't about revenge. But every word that came to mind felt hollow. Maybe I just wanted to know how it feels, I said quietly. To be the one in control for once. Lily's eyes filled with something I hadn't seen before. Pity. That's not control, Ryan. That's pain. That night I couldn't sleep. The waves crashed endlessly outside, and the moonlight spilled across the sheets, illuminating everything I'd tried to hide. Lily slept beside me, peaceful, unaware that my heart was unraveling. I reached for my phone and opened Emma's messages. The last one was still there. Please come home. I just want to talk. I typed a reply. You open the door. I just walked through it. Then I deleted it. Because the truth was uglier than that. The truth was that I had loved her enough to try anything to keep her, even if it meant destroying both of us. When we returned home, Emma was waiting on the porch. Her face was pale, makeup smudged, eyes red. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. Lily froze beside me. Emma. Emma turned toward her. Don't. Her voice was sharp, brittle. You don't get to say anything. I opened my mouth to speak, but she lifted her hand. You can save your justifications. Get it now. You wanted me to feel what you felt. Tears welled in her eyes. And you succeeded. The silence that followed was unbearable. Even the wind seemed to die. Then she looked at me and said, I never loved Ethan. I stared at her. What? She wiped her cheek. It was supposed to be an experiment. Something to fix us. But the second I saw the look in your eyes that night, I realized it was already over. I just didn't want to admit it. Her voice cracked. But you didn't have to choose her. Lily stepped back, trembling. I'm sorry, Emma. I didn't mean. Emma laughed bitterly. You never mean anything, Lily. You just take what's easy. And then she turned to me. Enjoy your freedom, Ryan. You finally got what you wanted. She walked away, barefoot down the driveway, tears catching the sunlight. Months later, I still see her face every time I close my eyes. The resort, the ocean, the laughter. It all feels like another life. Lily and I ended things weeks after that day. It was inevitable. She couldn't live with what we'd done, and I couldn't pretend it meant anything. Sometimes I sit by the shore and imagine going back to that moment when she first said, an open marriage. I wonder what would have happened if I'd just said no. Maybe we'd still be together. Maybe we'd still be broken. But every time I picture her crying on that balcony, I know the truth. There's no way back once betrayal becomes love's language. You start speaking it fluently. And eventually, it's the only thing you know how to say.